Alright guys, welcome back to All Day RC. Today we're going to be talking about wheels and tyre combinations, predominantly or mainly just for the Traxxas X-maxx. Okay, I've got a selection of 5 different wheels and tyres here that have come off my own truck, so I can obviously only advise you on stuff that I've personally run and had experience of myself. So starting here, we've got a stock Traxxas X-maxx 8S wheel and tyre. Now for a stock truck on stock gearing, they're absolutely fine. However, you have to be very careful running them in the wet. They do damage the foams degrade in the wet, they absorb the water, it starts to break them down. Then when you're running and rotating the wheel, it all gathers up in one area and it comes bursting out the tyre and rips the tyre. They're quite a soft, pliable compound, but it's fine as long as you're not going to go crazy and put big motors and crazy gearing in. If you're going to do that, then these aren't good enough. They're a 24mm hex on the back. The Traxxas ones are a splined hex, same as the hexes on the actual truck, and then you've just got your standard 17mm wheel nuts. Other than that, they are what they are, they're fine for stock. Now moving on from there, another Traxxas wheel and tyre that I run are the paddle tyres. I know that Proline have now brought out their version of the paddle tyres. They seem fairly similar. I will say these do perform very, very well. They don't really balloon, they've got a lot of strength due to the actual paddles. Again, they're a standard 24mm hex, but with the Traxxas spline. They're on exactly the same rim as the 8S, which again, they're not the strongest thing in the world, but for what they are and what they're designed to be used for, they're more than adequate. When the 6S came out, the 6S tyres were a lot thinner and failed even on a 6S truck, and also the rims cracked an awful lot around the inside in here, but they have got rid of that issue now. The only thing I would say is these are quite expensive and they're very niche, so they're only really designed for running on water or running on the beach. I've probably used these 6 or 8 times since I've had them, so for the cost, technically they're not really worth it unless you do live somewhere where you're running on the beach and things like that a lot. I don't like to run on the beach more than I have to because it involves a lot of maintenance afterwards and stripping the truck down, getting all the salt out and things like that. But as a paddle tyre, very happy with them. So the next upgraded tyre I moved on to, and this was the first real good combination to come out that was specifically made for the X-maxx, is the Proline Badlands Mx. Now these are a very hard compound, big knobbly tyres, great for off-road. They're a true beadlock, which is kind of okay, not overly necessary on the X-maxx. Again, they've got a 24mm hex, there's no spline in these. They've got a reasonable amount of material around the hex. I've not had any issues at all. The grip is fantastic from these. What lets them down is the weight and the lack of sidewall distortion. It just depends what kind of running you're doing. In the winter, in the snow, on really wet grass and things like that, these are absolutely amazing. However, they will ruin whatever they're running on. So if you're running on wet grass and things like that, if it's your own garden, these will tear marks out of it and leave skid marks. But yeah, it is what it is. They've now brought out the trencher tyre for these. From what I've seen of them, they seem quite soft. I've personally not run them myself. I've seen people with them, and I know people that have ripped them and saying you have to tape the inside, which is a bit like banding it. To be honest, for how much these cost, you really shouldn't have to be having to do that. Also, I bought the pre-assembled ones. Now I have changed all the bolts for stainless steel. However, when I got them initially, when you looked at them sideways, you could see some of these were in too far, some were out. It was very, very poor. If I'd have just put these on the truck and run it, I'd have had problems. So that's quite poor on the quality control side, bearing in mind that these are made in America, you know, in quite a small production line, not in a massive factory at the back and beyond somewhere, you know, China or somewhere like that. So again, they should really be sorting that out. Size wise, we're a very similar size to the Traxxas ones. The paddle tyres look bigger just because of the paddles. Okay, next on, I bought a set of Mx land grippers, and I have been very, very happy with these, and these have been my wheel and tyre of choice the majority of the time I've had upgraded X-maxes. Now this is a V2. Okay, there's a V1 with a V style tread pattern that were quite heavy, and they had a weak rim. People were smashing the rims, smashing the wheels completely off. Yes, they were hitting things, however, or heavy landings. That really shouldn't be happening. Okay, so this is a V2. Now, it's got a 24mm hex. It's got a metal ring around it, which, yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not overly necessary, but at the end of the day, it is going to help protect that hex. Now, the main difference with these is they've got a big hole through the middle, and you have to use, with the V2s and the V1s, they're lug nuts or wheel nuts, which have a metal collar that sits through here, so the wheel sits on it, and then it screws in to the stub axle, and it's also then a 24mm hex on the outside. They are really nice wheel nuts, they look very good, but that is something to bear in mind. If you buy these, you cannot use the stock wheel nuts. However, the V3 version you can, and I've got a set of them, and I have run a set of them with stock wheel nuts, and they're absolutely fine. But my recommendation is, if you buy these, buy a set of lug nuts with them, because they're nice. The 24mm, they look good, they come anodised in colours. Okay, the V3s, they're also now available in white, so you can dye them your own colour, but you can also get them in red, green and blue, pre-coloured. Okay, last but not least, my most recent purchase, wheels and tyres, which is going to be for a Project X-maxx that I'm rebuilding. At least the Wheeze Cyclone wheels and tyres. Okay, very nice. Weight-wise, by the way, the Mx land grippers are one of the lightest, so they're quite considerably lighter than the Proline, so that's something to bear in mind if you're a basher. The Louise are in between. These are about 800 grams each. Okay, now these have got quite a nice tread pattern that I think for mud, dirt, grass are going to give a tremendous amount of grip. They've also got standard 24mm hex, but you can use these with the standard wheel nuts, which is nice. The bolts in the middle are just for show, they don't do anything, but it is nice that they are genuine steel bolts, not you know, plastic like everything else is. They come pre-painted, which is nice, and that seems to stay on quite well from what I've seen, unless you physically scrape it off. They don't balloon. They've got a new technology. It's like woven rubber inside. I'm not going to pretend that I fully understand it, because I don't, but they don't seem to distort or balloon quite the same as, say, the stock ones, or even the land grippers, which are ribbed inside but do start to balloon. Alright guys, I hope that's given you a bit of an insight and helped some of you before you go out and spend your hard-earned cash on wheels and tyres, because let's face it, in the UK, you know, we are paying over £150 normally for a set of wheels and tyres, which is a lot of money. Alright guys, happy bashing.